Teachers, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wayne in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Hey everybody, and welcome to Show X on VTWProductions.com. You're listening live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT on this Sunday, the 17th of September, 2017. Normally I would say, this is the point where I'd say, and we are joined as always by our good friend Ken, but he is out busy today, so no Ken for us. But that is okay, and that is outstanding, as Hando is saying in the IRC. Yes, Ken is looking quite fabulous today, as we don't have Ken. Instead, we have a friend of mine joining us, a special guest, and it is Take a Chance Cosplay. And so with that, I didn't ask before the show, although I should have, is what would you prefer for us to talk to you as today? Is Take a Chance or up to you?
You can talk to me as Take a Chance, but I think we should just adjust the... I can't speak. I think we should address the more important question is, why is Ken in your white windowless van?
Well, Ken tends not to be. He's the one. It's funny, the introduction that we have there that we've had for way too many years and have been threatening to update for quite some time is one that he and his wife had filmed or set up for us. Gosh, that had to have been, what, 6-7 years ago, I think? Maybe 5-6 years ago we set that up. And since then, Ken's no longer a student. He now teaches college, university out in the UK, as well as, mine has never been applicable, but it was just a joke. It has been going for far too long. And so with that, we've talked and threatened about updating an intro and just have not. Because we're lazy like that. Go figure. But that's all right. Let's see. So beyond that, though, and hopefully I reinstalled, for those who've been listening along for quite some time, I reinstalled Sam Broadcaster, and so I'm hoping the music will not do funky things this show. I say this right before starting the show. The computer killed itself again because of page sys errors like it likes to do, I think, due to old audio. But I'm back, and we're on. Oh, it's bad. It's the technical issues that are part of this show are ridiculous.
But it wouldn't be the show without them.
Oh gosh, it would be so nice if I didn't have them. And I could just do a show and just like, hey guys, and go through a whole 2 hours without that.
That would be really
right.
boring.
No, it means everyone would actually have content and not my terrible struggling to keep things online. Anyhow, so tweeted out that we are here. For those who are listening live and are not in the chat, you can go to the VTW front page at VTWProductions.com. Click on the chat window up at top, and then you can join in on the chat as well. Even if you are watching us on the YouTube stream, you could also just come in that way, and it makes it work very well. So to start things off, it's going to be essentially an extended bit of
functional deviations.
On today's Dysfunctional Deviations, I will talk briefly about what I've been doing that has not been geek this week, but we are going to focus instead on Take a Chance to make sure that we get everything that you guys can all learn what it is she does. So just to catch people up on what I've been doing this week, my friend Hyde and I went on an adventure yesterday down to Pueblo, Colorado, at which point we went and basically I got submerged or surrounded, thanks to Kuro and his girlfriend Vanessa, a slew of cats. And so we basically went down to visit and hang out with a bunch of cats. And you can shake your head as much as you want. Some people are cat people. Not everybody loves dogs, at least not like you.
Wolfers forever.
And so amongst the kitties, I think we had, they have 11 of them right now. Because Vanessa essentially rescues cats, and there's some that were down the road that were just strays. And so she'd been catching this new litter of kittens and getting them all cleaned up, picking off ticks, fleas, stuff like that, to then allow them to be adopted. And so I went down there to see them and tried to make a decision as to whether I was ready to have a new cat in my life, since mine of 19 years passed back in April. And so, amongst much collusion between Vanessa and Hyde, as they felt for sure the answer was yes, I needed more cats in my life, I have brought Feline home. I say it this way, as when I say feline, I mean Dos Feline. And so there are two new additions to the Wayne household. sisters that are these young little kittens that are about 3 months old. We will see how it goes. They're upstairs right now in my room along with Zenko Ako cosplay and Hide My Air cosplay as they're kind of helping introduce them to the world. So we'll see how that'll be. That'll be fun. Yay, kittens. Been a while. Like 15, 16, 17 years since I've had kittens. Yeah. So this will be interesting. Anyhow, the next day, Saturday, we went up and I took Hyde for the first time out to Bishop Castle, which is one of the few registered castles in Colorado. I've talked about it before on the show. It's the one where gentleman, Mr. Bishop, John Bishop, I think? I forget his first name. Basically, since the 60s, has been building this castle by himself. And it is currently 160 feet into the air and massive, and it's all this rock, stone, and his own welding that has put this castle together. It's phenomenal. It's a great back shoot for photos and things like that. But anyhow, took that, had a good time there, and then came back with kitties. So that's mostly what I have not been doing that's been hasn't been geek this week, just to kind of catch people up. And yes, Ken is not here. He is traveling. He was tempted to try to dial in on the road, but I suggested against because, thank you, Kuro, Jim Bishop. I know it's a J. Thank you. And so Kuro's here, and yes, we'll have updates on the kittens. You may see my office change upstairs. For you, take a chance. You may want to point that light up into the sky and have it come down on you to make it less harsh.
This light isn't like a light bulb or anything. It's natural lighting.
Oh, it's just from like the window?
Yeah, and I'm trying so hard to like make my face not as washed out because I'm already Snow White realness.
Well, the other thing you do is shade it if you have it, but yeah, the challenges, like you said, of live broadcast, that makes a difference. Good job. So yes, thank you, Kuro, and Vanessa and Hyde have done the worst of collusion, but we will see how this goes forward. I'll talk about more next week. So anyhow, as we get into now talking to our special guest here, Take a Chance. So Take a Chance and I met just recently as I was out in Atlanta, Georgia at DragonCon. Had the opportunity, and it initially happened as I was running around it's hard to say which day's which at DragonCon because coming in Thursday at day 0 and partying, it wasn't day 0, but day 1 on Friday?
It was day 1. Or
yes.
No, yeah, we met Friday.
So it was Friday, and it was when I was first wearing my Thomas Jefferson costume.
Which is amazing.
Thank you. Taking it out for a spin and ran into other cosplayers that were doing Eliza and Hamilton. And kind of we wandered together getting photos and then made ourselves over to was it at the Sheraton?
Yes,
yeah.
It was the Sheraton.
So kind of the con hotel that's just off the beaten path, but is officially, it's where you go get your badges, things like that. But they had a panel for Hamilton on that Friday, and so I figured, I'm wearing a Hamilton cosplay, I should go to this. Showed up, and at that point it was standing room only. But our group thankfully stopped taking photos long enough to get in line in time to make it before the breakout, so we could actually get in. One of the gals that we would take photos with also that was dressed as Lafayette did not because she was like 6 or 7 people behind us. So we made it in. But in there, they were doing the panel talking a little bit about Hamilton the musical, some of the local things they do to celebrate it. And then we had an opportunity to do a couple songs and sing along. While doing this, I was hanging out close to the Eliza and the Hamilton and happened to notice, much as is dressed today, for those who should be in the video wall if you're not, a rather attractive young gal in a rogue costume.
Hey there, sugar.
Who equally had a surprisingly convincing accent. Where I
just grew up in an area where people spoke like that.
Hey, it helps to have the benefit of being able to just play yourself. And so, yes. And throughout, we all basically jumped in, sang different songs, and participated in that. People who have taken the time to look at my YouTube channel will have seen on social media where I shared the videos that I took from that on my GoPro, and you can hear me horribly trying to sing Skylar Sisters. Not as horribly do the rest.
I think I was actually in your video for
You had one where I was still in the back.
Yorktown.
Yes, where you went up front and were.
No, I wasn't up front for Yorktown.
I have at least one of you where you're up front, and then the others, yeah,
that
we
was
were together.
Skylar Sisters.
Was it Skylar? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw where you were going back and forth up front. You had changed sides at least once or twice.
I changed sides once. That's when two gentlemen in the song go, "She's looking for me," and then I strike the most fabulous pose that I could, walking in go-go boots.
That was outstanding. That was good. Yes. And so through that video, you'll see us hanging out next to each other, singing up as we could through Hamilton, which was a lot of fun. Afterwards, when that cleared out, everyone kind of went together, took some more photos as people are leaving because they were pretty impressed by the costume, which was nice. Had the opportunity where Take a Chance wanted to make sure to also get a photo. It was like, hey, before you run away. At which point, we kind of separated at that point because I went and had some drinks with the Hamilton and Eliza, just kind of chilling out for a minute, and you had disappeared. I think later that same day, we ran into each other briefly again at the Hilton, I think it was, on the one that's all the way on the east side.
Yeah, it was the Hilton.
I was at that point, and there's video of this one again on Facebook because my friend Melissa was upstairs in that one, and we were in the atrium as I was trying to listen to this wonderful DJ who was streaming music there, or DJing for everybody. But the Spartans had taken over the main atrium there and kept doing calls and things like that. Yeah. And with that, they finally quieted down enough for the DJ to start playing music. And I, of course, if there's music, decided to dance. And it was fun because as I was bouncing around, right as Melissa started taking the video, Take a Chance came running into frame again. And like, oh, hey, oh, hi. And danced for a moment before running away again.
Quick shameless promo. I recorded a YouTube video over Dragon Con, and there's actually video of this dance and videos of us hugging before and after the dance. So if you go to 50th Street on YouTube, they should have the video up soon.
Nice. And
then you can see more of Wayne as Jefferson.
Because that's what we need. Oh gosh, never need more Wayne. That is for sure. But yeah, so no, Dragon Con, it was a great opportunity. So met you doing that, and then again we kind of ran off. At some point, I don't know how much we had talked, where we had first actually talked a little bit, because again you just kind of run off. I don't think we ran into each other again that day.
The next time we ran into each other was,
I thought it was the following
Saturday
night.
Evening.
Yeah.
It was after the Heroes and Villains Ball.
Yep. So what it was is you were running around your whole Saturday. I spent most of my Saturday in my friend Kitty's room helping finish up our group's costumes, sewing on some sleeves and doing little bits of work wherever I could be trusted to sew well enough for it not to look poorly on her master craftsmanship. So I was able to do some sleeves,
really nice.
And I was able to baste some real quick seams for her to be able to sew over faster. And I felt like I did pretty good. But I spent probably 5 or 6 hours that day doing that before I started running around as Jefferson again. And then that evening, when we finally got the entire group together, we decided to go down and take photos, and we were over in the Westin, where Jim and Kitty were staying. And so...
Oh, they were staying in the Westin?
Oh, yes. They were up high.
I wondered why you guys chose that.
Yeah. A lot of guests get to go to the suites. And so Jim being one of the, Jim Butcher being one of the guests as an author there and having a couple tracks where he was talking about his book series and some of the things, he was a guest and they put him up there. So we just stayed in the same hotel, and the rest of their group essentially were in that hotel. I was pretty much the only one who had found a floor, literally, to sleep on for Dragon Con because I hadn't actually booked myself a room. And so I was over in the A-Loft, which isn't thankfully far away. Well, this is one where, just like how the Westin sold out in a day, and not even a day, in 10, 15 minutes after the ticket sales went on, the day after Dragon Con, essentially. And I tried to get in and failed, and therefore have not got a room at the Westin. If you're not on top of it...
That's the thing with Dragon Con, though.
Well, yeah.
Is that if you don't book it immediately after, so for those of you who haven't been to Dragon Con, the ending of Monday, when you go to check out, hotels, the 4 main hotels that it's in, they will ask you, do you want to reserve your room for next year? it goes that quickly.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then what they do on the main page, because I wasn't staying in any of them, I didn't have that opportunity. But what they do then is they essentially say, okay, would you like to book? Or they start releasing blocks of these hotels for DragonCon as it goes out throughout the year. The first one opening up that basically day after was the Westin. And so I was like, oh, let me just do the thing and jump in and start, trying to reserve rooms where I can. Challenge, having to work for one thing, and therefore having trouble being able to get access to the interwebs for it. Yeah, that was a struggle. I made the attempt, did not work, so I will still be in search of rooms for DragonCon coming up, because I am planning on bringing out my entire cosplay group if I can convince them next time. My main group that are all upstairs in my bedroom right now. Or at least most of our. And so I'm going to try desperately. I'm going to commit to doing DragonCon right this year, this next year. So no, but while we were shooting the photos, and had the advantage of having Tori there with his camera Lucille, and Tori Weeneel's photography for all the cosplayers.
He named his camera Lucille?
Yes. This is his. So his last camera.
Do I need to go get my bat right now?
You can get your props.
Hold on. I'm getting this.
Yes, by all means. So thankfully, Weeneel's photography, who does amazing stuff with his editing and everything like that, it's just phenomenal. Happened to be part of the group as our Aaron Burr, and we convinced him he wasn't feeling like shooting, but through trickery, guilt, and other means, primarily one of the members of the group, who was it? Suzanne, I think, had commented saying, or King George had said, Tori, you've never shot me. What the heck? I feel as though you have done me a disfavor because you've never shot me in a photo, Tori, so you should probably go get your camera and come do this. And I think that was the thing that pushed him over the edge where he's like, okay, I'll do this. And so he went down to his room, picked up Lucille, brought her down, and as well as Priscilla, oh gosh. Which one was she cosplaying as? Older sister. Yeah.
Angelica?
Yeah, she was Angelica. Okay, she had also as a photographer brought her light bar that we used throughout and stuff like that. And so there were like several of us who do photography and things all in the group, as well as cosplaying. So we all showed up and we just kind of picked an area that happened to be by what would be the Starbucks or such that was closed, that had this nice kind of little hooped out seating area with couches and chairs in it. And like, yep, this is where we're shooting. And we just kind of took it over. And we kind of started setting things up, using light, things like that, at which point, Take a Chance, how did you come back upon our group?
This is quite funny. So, the Heroes and Villains Ball started at 10. I found some friends of mine. We danced until midnight, in which they went back to their room. I was in a Lady Loki cosplay, much with this very crown. That is oh so amazing.
It's an all metal
It's 100%
crown.
metal.
Yes.
Yeah, all metal. And so I'm in a dress, which I'm never in. And walking down, because we were on the 8th floor, well, we had to go to the elevators to get to our room.
Okay.
So we pushed the button, and nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Pushed it again, nothing. Eventually, a guy walks by us and goes, oh yeah, somebody pulled the fire alarm in the elevator, so none of them are working.
It was, everything
all
was
just-
shut down from the 26th floor and up or something like that, or it was like the 40th floor and up, all of them were shut down.
So,
And so,
we were
yeah.
just, me and my folks were just, ugh. And the reason why we were like that is because we were on the 62nd floor.
Yeah, Jim's room was
We're
slightly
like,
above that. We suffered that too.
Yeah, we were like, no. We're not walking those stairs. So my folks were like, okay, let's go downstairs, maybe get some fresh air, go see the town right now. And we're walking down, and I see a King George. I was just, oh, that's King George, that's from Hamilton. And then I see this guy's big fro.
What?
And I was like, that's my Jefferson, that's my Jefferson. And so we like started walking downstairs. I was just like a dork.
Well,
And
So we suffered the same thing. Jim was a little higher. It also, talking about the time frame, tells you when we finally got all the costumes together. Because this Tummy Down was the first thing we did after finishing the last stitches and put together stuff for the costumes. A little later
12
than we'd
a.m.
hoped.
people. 12 a.m.
Little later than we'd hoped. We were kind of hoping to be on the con floor somewhere around 6 in the afternoon. But that did not happen. Anyhow, through a lot of group effort, we did get out there and we were shooting. And at some point, I basically look over and I see Lady Loki sitting there amongst the group, just kind of like, oh, hi. Which is great. It was great to kind of say, well, that seemed random, but we've run into each other again. At which point, Take a Chance really was knockout awesome with our group because we were shooting all these photos, and the challenge is every one of us was part of the shoot in costume. And so we were trying initially to do some levels of like timer it and then run in front to get the whole group and take a shot. Did a couple of those. It was easier when we broke down to subgroups and stuff because then someone could shoot it. And then once Take a Chance showed up, we had an extra hand for all things, as well as because unfortunately our extra hands were stuck up in the room still on the 60-something floor. And one of my friends,
Kitty said she was on like the 60th.
They were
no.
well, I wasn't gonna say the specific floor, but yeah, they were up there.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately our friend Kavi was still up in the room, had thrown out her hip earlier in the day, and so could barely walk. And so there was like, oh, there's no way you're walking down 60 flights of stairs. So crud, because between her and another in the room, it would have been who would help us shoot the photos and such. So we were a little out, and we were missing our one extra stage member because Kavi was dressed as one of the background characters. And so, unfortunately, didn't get pictures with her, which makes me really sad. But Take a Chance helped us out, ran some of the lighting for a lot of the things. Then as we started switching out groups and people kind of peeled off, came back taking breaks and such, because we shot for a while to get a lot of great photos, Take a Chance even got behind the camera and shot several things, posed a few of the shots. The one I credit you the best with is the fabulous King George shot, where King George is splayed out in a chair, and the lights directly overhead as though driven by God, as I think
God
was
is
stated.
just raining down.
Yes.
I told. Were you manning the light?
I may have been manning the light for that one.
Yeah, the light wand. I think you were manning that one, or the light bar. But I had King George just sprawled in a chair, and I went, okay. I took a shot, and I was like, it's still not what I want. So I just looked at Wayne and I went, make it look like God is raining down on him. And just positioned the light directly over.
And it worked. It worked really well. And that's, I think, one of Suzanne's favorite photos from that one. It was just splayed out back like, look at me. Look how fabulous I am. And worked really well. That came off
fabulous.
amazing. Yes. And it's funny because as King George, her costume was one of the more simple versions because it didn't have the big cloak and cape that normally King George is associated with, but she rocked the outfit and the attitude, and it absolutely worked. So that was wonderful.
There's a picture on my Instagram of me with this crown, and then with her crown on top of this one, just like resting on one of the horns.
Well, and so partially, and hopefully we'll see. It's all up to Tori's editing. He only lets out the things that he feels like he really enjoys for his shots. But I may ask him for is that I made sure after all was said and done to take a chance in front of his camera, because it's one of those, even though you might not have been in like true full cosplay in your Lady Loki, because it's a little Loki dressed with the crown, but the opportunity to sit in front of Wee Neals is one that should not be missed. And so hopefully that will come out, and I'll have something to send to you. I'll probably throw him a note just to see if he has one, because his stuff's phenomenal. Which, for people who've seen my Predictably Ham page, my cosplay page, my main picture from that, as well as my regular Facebook picture, is one of the ones that he edited up. You were saying?
And your profile picture for Predictably Ham is the one where I lit up your fro and showed all like your straight hair.
That's right, because that was the one that I think it was Priscilla or something.
Priscilla was shooting.
And it's like, no, take that light. You got to go behind and here, and to kind of give me this halo of light behind the hair, which of course is something I would never have thought to do. Since I'm lazy and I shoot natural light all the time. So all these people with actual lights, what? So I have lots to learn.
So, it was about, what time did we end that? Like 12 a.m.? Or
Well,
no, not 12. That's when we started.
It would have been
Like
12:30 to almost. Well, I thought it was around 1ish because eventually, when we finished,
No,
it
it was
might have been
2
later.
because-
That would make
It
more
was
sense.
2 because I remember my dad checking the time when I went over right before I took my photos and going, it's 1:50 in the morning. So I stalled before getting my photos taken because I was just like, no, this is your guys' shoot. I just showed up. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but
And then
you
he
helped a
goes-
lot.
And then Wayne goes, no, grabs my arm and drags me over.
Yes, did. And feel good about that. Like I said, we'll have to get them out. So it went, and it's funny because Dragon Con, so the nights there go long. I think people recognize when I said like each night for me went later and later as we went. So we got all set up, done. Okay, good. Finally called it a night. You guys, I think, headed to bed or did something at that point. You were like,
Yeah, we headed to bed at about 2 in the morning.
yep. And so once that was done, it's like, all right, so I headed to bed, and we then actually took at least one stroll around Dragon Con with our whole group, which partly sets up as to why we didn't probably get as many random photos as we could have got, because by the time we actually hit the con floor, it sounds like it was after 2 in the morning. And while the con goes to like 5 or so, most people were in dances and doing things like that. And so we didn't necessarily get a whole lot of extra. But we went out, did our thing. That was cool. Called it a night after that. I was up a little later with, I think, Tori and who else was out there with me? The one other gal. We were out there and kind of they wanted to keep partying. Everyone else was like, nope, we're done. Going to bed. And so stay up a little
I mean,
longer.
I can understand Jim.
Yeah, no, Jim had his social fill for the day, both from doing his panels, being in his costume all day, things like that, getting all of it done. And then so he was like, all right, we made our rounds. People saw us. We're good. Go to bed. So he turned in. They went. We ran around a little bit longer. And then called it a night. Called it a day. Next day, what's that? So that puts us into Sunday? And Sunday, I think for most of the morning, we're running around doing our own things kind of deal. But ran into each other towards the afternoon or such. Yeah, back at the Hilton again. This time you were in your blended cosplay.
Yes, my Negan's Little Monster. It is a concoction of my own imagination. So Harley and Negan are a very popular mashup. And
Due to bat love?
Huh?
Due to the love of bats?
Love of bats. Batsy, batsy, batsy.
But I mean, I've obviously seen the official Harley and Negan mashup artwork, but I was looking at it and I was like, So 2 days before Tampa Bay Comic-Con this year, saw some Walking Dead friends of mine were going, and I was like, how can I take Harley and put her in the apocalypse? And then that's how I came up with her.
And so that outfit, essentially, you have the Harley wig kind of going, or color-wise going. And it's somewhat based off of the Suicide Squad look for Harley. Somewhat. It's got that color scheme going and like the little monster piece. But beyond that, it is not. It is...
no. I'm not wearing hot pants.
Yeah, more subdued and covered with blood.
Lots and lots of blood. I scared a little girl who was doing Harley that day. I was walking out of the bathroom somewhere, and this little girl who was doing Suicide Squad saw me and then ran behind her mother's legs.
Oh no.
I was like, I'm not that scary.
Well done. Well done. Look at you, ruining things for little kids. No.
Ruining things for little kids, the family business.
But yeah, so
Just
that
supernatural.
mashup where we ended up hanging out a little bit further, and I think the first time we're actually able to, well, outside of around the shoot, sit down and talk for a bit. And from there, kind of discussing various things, a little bit of your history, Dragon Con, all of that, your family, and all the coolness. So from that, had talked, hung out, I think a good portion of the rest of that day, kind of on and off, little bits. Again, the whole weekend, it was kind of touch and goes for us as we were hanging out. But it's one of those things, new friends, new people that you meet. And Dragon Con's such a massive convention that the opportunity is to meet all kinds of people. And
the fact that we ran into each other by chance.
I see what you did there.
Finger pistols. But the fact that we ran into each other, just no planning or whatever, like 3-4 times.
Yep.
And then
it was surprising. It was surprising to me as well. It was kind of just, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, well, there you go, chance, because I didn't look at the numbers overall of how many people end up at Dragon Con, but it is not insignificant.
It's this year was like 85,000 people, I think.
Nice. And so it's a lot to do kind of convention. And so running into people randomly multiple times is kind of surprising. Beyond that, let's see. Oh, I'm looking as... Things on my computer dying? I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, these are the little things I run into where it's like, why are things breaking during my show? Yep, that's not good. Anyhow.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, again, technology. The things that work against me. We'll see what happens.
This is why I
with
do
this.
makeup and painting. I don't...
You like to keep it analog?
I don't... How do I technology?
I can understand the benefits of that. I really can. Okay, so no. But basically, like I said, just kind of hung out through that, talked to Geek and stuff like that, learned a little bit more about each other. And talked about the show and stuff like that, and said, I mentioned, I should probably have you on because you do such cool things. Monday, because end of con, when we got to meet each other up for a minute again before everything ended and running out, you and your brother were out trying to get signatures and such from the celebrity row. I forget who it was that he was waiting in line for so bad.
Steve Bloom. He's a voice actor.
Okay.
And he voices several of Valor's favorite characters, but Val has a buddy that was about to be deployed.
Oh.
And he was like, his buddy was like, I really would like something from Steve Bloom. And so Valor waited in line and he got it for him.
Nice. That is very good of him. That is a nice thing to do. But yes, so you guys are waiting for that. I wandered around. That's where I ended up running into Al Lowe and Ron Paulson and stuff like that to get my signed, Leisure Suit Larry shirt, as well as a signature from Yakko Warner. So that was good for me. After that, I followed you back to, through the Marriott over to...
Yeah, we were
the other side. Did we go to... What's on the first hotel? Shoot. It's the Marriott, the Hilton, the Sheraton, and...
The Westin.
Well, but there's the one other one. There's the 3 in a row. The Sheraton, the Westin.
The Hyatt.
Hyatt, thank you.
We were in the Hyatt. We weren't in the Marriott. We went from the Marriott to the Hyatt.
Okay, because it's whichever one's on which side kind of thing. So, went over to...
I just looked at the signs.
Yeah, I can walk around and I know where they all are. It's harder and to challenge when you actually are running into things saying, like, where do I meet people? Like, how am I going to find you? And stuff like that, that you're like, oh, shoot. So, yeah. But look at people in the IRC there. So, hey, Cupcheck, how's it going? Let's see. All right. And sorry, I didn't give you the IRC before we started. You too can go to vtwproductions.com/chat and jump in the IRC if you want and type to people. Let's see. So we then went over to meet one of your friends from online and such.
Yes.
Which because I'm a complete plebe and I don't watch or understand it at all, was like, huh? And so, who was it we went and visited next?
We saw Mike Grimes. He is a Rick Grimes impersonator and cosplayer from Georgia. I can't remember where he's from.
Ah.
He lives like 30 or 40 minutes away from Atlanta. So he had come out there, and we both were kind of like, hey, you gonna be at Dragon Con? When can we meet up? And if you don't like Grimes, follow him, because he is a total and utter sweetheart. But no, he's very, very sweet. That's all I can say about him. He's so sweet.
Nice.
If you ever have the chance of meeting him, he's a precious little cinnamon roll.
Ha!
That's the only way I can describe him.
There's nothing wrong with that. That is okay. So, but that was something where, and the problem is because I don't watch Walking Dead or anything like that, so I was just kind of like, oh, he looks cool. So I didn't really recognize him until I saw like poster below. I was like, oh, that's cool. So hung out there for a little bit, took a bunch of photos, and that was kind of the end, for me at least, of Dragon Con. At that point, I think you had to run because you were packing stuff.
Yes.
Things like that. And
we were leaving right after meeting Mike.
Okay, cool.
Again.
And then after that, because I know your brother's like, come on, gotta go. And then at which one I pretty much had to not waste a whole lot of time because I was flying out at the same time. I highly recommend for those who do big conventions, especially out-of-towners, to reduce your stress when going through a convention, to show up a day early and leave a day late. It costs more. It does. It's more hotel costs and such like that and just eating and everything. But the amount of stress it saves you and the ability to take your time going through all the panels and stuff like that you want to go, more than makes up for it, makes it worth it. To me, for as many conventions I've gone to, it's worth. If I had booked my own room, I would have absolutely done that because I hadn't. My room was going away the same day, so shucks, had to run. At which point, flew back and such. Beyond that, had talked on social media and stuff, and so wanted to Take a Chance onto the show to start talking about both Dragon Con as well as all things geek. So outside of our timeline of bouncing in and out, what for you were some of the most memorable things you did at Dragon Con 2017?
Ooh. The Deadpool Chimichanga line. That one was really... So, for those of you who don't know and don't follow me, it's totally understandable. I have my head buzzed under this wig, and I do Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And I have a throwaway phone that I bring to smaller conventions, so it's literally a phone, no battery, it doesn't work anymore, and I toss it over my shoulder. But, yeah, so that one was really fun. I walked around. I was the only Negasonic the entire weekend.
Which is, in a way, awesome, because you were the Negasonic at Dragon Con. And
follow me on Twitter.
Well, and the photo shoot, because you went to the bigger, I don't know if it's specifically a Deadpool shoot or if it was a Marvel shoot, but there was at least a shot of you I've seen where there's Deadpools all around you, and you are the one Negasonic in the middle, looking at them all like, what?
That was the Deadpool Chimichanga line.
So it was part of that one, okay.
Yeah.
Because
we did a big group photo shoot. And it was really fun because there was a guy who was doing the Deadpool from X-Men Origins.
Okay.
And like had the mouth covered and
yep. I saw that one guy walk around because he also had a sign or something that said "Not my fault" or something like that. Some kind of sign on him. But which was funny.
All the Deadpools were like booing him and stuff when he showed up, which is what he wanted. He asked for that.
Oh, that's great.
And so me being the only Negasonic there, I ran up and took a selfie with him.
That's outstanding.
And there was a Deadpool that just yelled, "Negasonic, why?"
No, that's wonderful. That is great. Because he was Troll Deadpool, but it was fun. I saw him in the hallway. It was just like, what? No, that was great. And I think I had commented there's a photo of yours with a Deadpool Infinity Gauntlet Thanos version. that had
Yes,
the Infinity
Thanos tool.
Taco,
The
which
Infinity Taco.
I thought was epic. This massive
Yes.
taco with all the Infinity gems
That-
on it.
That has been like my top photo from Dragon Con, and I actually want to see how many likes it has because I posted that and then everybody was like, "This is genius! Where has this guy been?"
Yes.
I was like, "I don't know where he's from. I just thought he was cool."
No, I am so happy you grabbed that photo because as soon as I saw it, I was just like, yes, that. Same kind of reaction. Like, this is amazing. This person won, and so
Yeah, but it's like I posted that and then I posted the rest of my photos, and this one has been one of the few that have gotten up and over 100 likes.
nice.
So this is currently at
As technology
my
fights
phone
you.
being jerk. It has 5 comments and oh, I guess somebody disliked it. 5 comments, 2 saves, 99 likes.
Nice.
And I'm like, really? Even the selfies of me don't get that many likes.
Hey, it's all a game of social media, getting more and more people to see, enjoy, and get a part of things. So, never worry about that game. You do that, and you'll stress yourself to death. But no, that was a ton of fun and very cool. So, beyond your Negasonic, was there anything else overall with Dragon Con that's just like panels you went to or events you were part of that you thought were amazing, and why people need to go to Dragon Con in the future?
Just panels and like events that I went to. The Hamilton panel, I know we talked about it already, but that was just so much fun.
Yeah, no, it
And
was.
I'm excited for the Hamilton ball next year. Hopefully I'll have either Hamilton or Angelica finished by then. Supposed to have Hamilton finished by December. For Holiday Matsuri, any people in Orlando, if you're coming to that, I will be with a friend of mine doing Hameliza. So
Nice. Well, and that's the thing. The other thing about Dragon Con is it is a nexus for geeks from all over the world showing
Yes,
up there.
everyone.
You know, my group coming out from Denver, as well as, you know, Take a Chance out from Florida. And we have had, you know, that's
Yes.
where I met Alex, and I forget the name of his thing. I linked it last week, from the UK, who had come out with his cosplay, and a couple other UK people that ran into, most of which it was their first con in the US and their first major con. And so I was like, wow, you done picked an interesting one. Sorry for every other convention you go to after this.
funny story about this. My brother and there was a little. He's a year younger than me, so he's 13. We were walking around with a 13-year-old Deadpool. That was his first con. That was his mom's first con. And several years back, that was also my brother's first con. So it's like you're going straight to top. Every
Right?
single con is just going to disappoint you greatly. Whereas
Unless,
I started out with Tampa Bay Comic-Con.
well, and that's the thing, right? I started out with NDK, which is a legitimately decent anime convention, but local to Denver, has now started growing to much bigger, and started going to things after that like Wasabi and Colorado Anime Fest, Rocky Mountain Con, KobolCon, the tiniest of cons, the one-day library convention.
We have a similar thing here called Clearwater Comic-Con, and we also have ToshoCon, which is an anime convention. And those are little one-day conventions, but it's so cool because last Clearwater Comic-Con I went to, which was back in March or April, that's when I debuted Negasonic. I entered the adult costume contest, and I didn't win any prize or anything, like any money.
Actual,
which
yeah.
would have been nice.
But
But I did win most accurate because
very nice.
I walked up there with my phone. I was just
did the hold on for a minute. So you got the play aspect of the cosplay down.
I do. I make sure that if you meet me in cosplay, the thing that I strive to be with mine is I try to make people think that I am that character. I try to embody it. But I also reel it back sometimes. So I do a lot of Harley for different charity organizations and events. I can't, come out there and just, take people's things. I have to reel myself back. But if I see like a pretty bag and I'm with a Joker, I'll go,
Mr. J, why can't I have one?
Very nice.
So I have perfected so many different accents for so many different cosplays. I have too much free time.
Oh no, this is the part where I've talked about cosplay a lot to people that, yes, costuming is a thing that anyone can do. I relish in the play aspect of cosplay. I want to demonstrate as being the character. When I am in a costume as a character and I run into other members of essentially that show, that comic, that whatever, I do my best to try to interact with them and do so as the character. It's why my favorite as Mr. Satan is to run around to any Dragon Ball Z character and troll them. I had mentioned last time when I was walking through the hallways between hotels, I ran across a Android 17 and 18 cosplayers, and I like hugged the wall and like scooted back like, don't look at me, which was great, except that they almost didn't notice me. And it wasn't until they were about to turn the corner that I think the 18 turned and looked at me and was like, wait a second, are you? I was like, yeah. And then they kind of scooted around, in which case I turned around and ran back after them and said, nah, you can't get out of here. I need a picture. And make sure to get a photo of them. But I like to do that, and it works out well in most cases. The challenge I had this time was I ran into a bunch of Super Saiyans later on, and they had no clue. And I was like, it's the not wanting to say, but at the same time, like, you are not true fans.
I was I'm trying to think, but I had a very similar story. I actually think I was in Rogue, and I saw a Gambit, but it was kind of like, it wasn't the best looking Gambit, but it was like, you could obviously tell that was Gambit.
Okay.
It was like one of those. And I went up there and I was like, Sugar, where you been? Professor X has been looking everywhere for you. And he just looked at me with just this, who are you?
It's one thing. It's one thing
your
if
partner,
right? It's one thing if you're in the universe, right? And you're just another character from it. It's like, oh, okay. It's another thing when it's like, no, we share comics. We are in storylines together. We are amongst the same teams.
We got married in a comic.
Yeah, those are the moments where you're like, because for me as Mr. Satan, it's whenever I see Videls, because I'm like, daughter, I see you rocking around out there. Don't you go run around with any of them funny hair guys. I know. I got my eye on you. You know, that kind of thing. And I've had a couple not get it. And the ones who did get it lost their stuff. They were like, they're like, oh my God, please come here, right? And that's kind of what I live for. And I look forward to, because I was talking to my cosplay group earlier. Oh no, it was last night when we had some others over kind of talking in general, because we started talking about some Soul Eater cosplay. And how I was like, I desperately want to cosplay from Soul Eater. But the challenge is the character I want to do from Soul Eater, nobody ever knows. Like, has a clue that the character even exists. They forget, even though, now granted, not a mainline character. Absolutely understand, not a mainline character. However, are actual characters. But just more of like background, still hunters in this case. And what it is it's the, let's see if I get the right one in here. No, not that one. I'm looking at the list to make sure I get the name right. Because a lot of people say I'd be Stein, essentially. And I'm like, no, not Stein. Because I could pull that one off. I'm pretty sure I could do Stein. But no, there's one black kid in the animation for Soul Eater. And again, no one ever recognizes or sees it. They're just like, wait, there is? Where? What? But when I mention that okay, is this it? Yeah, Pot of Fire, so is it Killik Room? Is this the one? Essentially, he's a Meister that his weapons are boxing gloves. And he's a boxer, is fighting. He's a black kid that has basically cornrows gone back in his outfit. But again, no one ever recognizes him. And it's not until I kind of explain that they're like, oh, snap, you're right. I have seen him like once. And it's funny because I'd found costume for him way back when and absolutely wanted to cosplay him. Mostly so I can show up to a Soul Eater thing and have people not have a clue and then be able to get offended at them. But yeah, I like to do kind of the background characters from things. I want to do Ra, and I want to do the Russian, the black Russian who's doing the sales for the sushi shop out front. Just the big black Russian. That would be amazing. Things like that.
I enjoy being main-ish characters. Like with my... Why did my voice crack? With my Gamora, because I've taken her out twice. I've had the costume since Guardians, the second Guardians movie came out, and I've only taken her out twice. But she is one of the more challenging main characters to do for me because like Rogue,
green?
that, and because I talk in my normal voice with her, but I sound nothing like Zoe Saldana. And so it just irks me. But there was a Star-Lord who went gaga over me when he found me, because I was like one of the few Gamoras that he had seen, and I was the only Gamora there that had painted my entire body.
Yeah.
I wore a swimsuit top underneath that prevented me painting my stomach and my back, which was nice. But I still had chest, shoulders, arms, hands, palms, everything. I had all of that painted. And then there was a rocket that walked by and was just really confused at why there was a Star-Lord just going fanboy over this green alien with a god killer sword.
Oh, come on. Again, this is where when cosplay, it's like, I don't know. Though I do get a little like ownership stuff of things like this when I want people to really understand the characters. Okay, so on this note, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play a song. It's going to be about 3.5 minutes from my not good friend, but one of the favorites we have on the show, Leo, who Lego's Lost Project, his whole project with that. But Leo, who does great covers of songs, all metal based, and it's one of those. If you don't know Leo, was it Moriarty essentially? You should, because he's amazing. The first one I ever heard from him, and it was actually watching a video of it on YouTube, is his cover of the Gorillaz "Feel Good" by Leo, and the video. He's basically running around, or someone is, in a mall in a bunny suit the entire time playing it, and it's epic. Now, and I want to say he's out of Sweden or somewhere like that. He's somewhere in Europe that he's from, but it's so good. And he gave us permission to use his songs on the show, which is yay, thank you. So we're going to play a song from Leo. We'll come back and have some more Dysfunctional Deviations with our friend Take a Chance cosplay, at which point I will ask you some more questions about your geek, things like that, and we will get into it. All right? All right, so with that, we will be back in about 3.5 minutes. You're listening to Show X on VTWProductions.com.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com. on giving. What is this I'm feeling? If you wanna leave, I'm with it. We've come too far to give up who we are. So let's raise the bar when you come to the start. She's up all night to the sound, come up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun, come up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to the sun, we're up all night to get some. We're up all night for good fun, we're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
You're listening to ShowX on VTWProductions.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Hello, who's here? Yes, welcome.
Hello.
As I hear ringing going off in the background. That's okay.
That would be my dad's phone.
No worries. So, everybody,
Hey,
welcome back to the show.
What's the link so that I can talk to people?
If you would like to chat, here, let me just grab it for you, and I will put it into the chat.
Go into the cabinet.
There. This way you too can participate in the show, as well can anybody else out there. If you just go to vtwproductions.com/p/chat, and you will be able to go or click on the chat button at the top, and you'll be able to both listen live on the left as well as join into the chat and talk to us with the show. This way, yes, you too can ask us questions, we can respond, as well as you can email into the show at showx@vtwproductions.com. All right, as we continue, and like I said, it is now time for me to talk more specifically about your history and all things Take a Chance. So, first off in that, we talked a little bit about your cosplay. Are there other costumes that you've done that I did not get the opportunity to experience at Dragon Con and such that you would like people to know about? And really, partially, it's kind of backing you up to say, what got you into cosplay in the first place?
Well, cosplays that you haven't experienced would be Gamora. She's a hard one to do, and I knew that I was going to be in Atlanta heat, so I just said no.
So no full body paint when you're dealing with the heat and humidity.
My brother just brought me a
hot
straw
Atlanta.
for my drink because lipstick.
Ah, that is very kind of.
Yes. Another one is CL Phantom Hive from Black Butler. Hold on.
Very nice. I know a lot of people who run around in CLs.
Yes. It's very interesting to meet other CLs because I remember meeting one at ToshoCon recently.
Okay.
And he was a Slytherin CL and had like a wand and everything. Well, in my sleeve, because if you look at my costume, it's actually this long sleeve that goes out, and then I have a jacket that stops right around the wrist. So there's a gap in there that I can like put things in. I know this sounds bad. So in there, I had put an Earl Grey tea bag,
Okay.
still in its little compartment, and he said, "I have a wand," and then I pulled out my tea bag. I was like, "I have Earl Grey tea? Sebastian, why do I have this?" So, that's something that I do to a lot of CLs, is I ask them why I have Earl Grey tea in my bag,
Nice.
just because I love trolling people.
And good accent on the back of that as well. That was good.
Well, thank you. I try to make sure a lot of my accents are as accurate as possible.
Ah, that's legit good. No, great job. So,
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't think I have any more cosplays.
Well, what was your first costume that you came up with, and first like true cosplay? Because it's one thing to go from costuming, Halloween events, things like that, to realizing you were actually participating in cosplay.
Hang on, I'm just putting in the thing in my phone.
Being able to come chat with us.
Yeah, so that I can like showcase
or-
some questions.
If you have a chat client, you can also direct your favorite chat client to irc.quakenet.org and go to the /VTW channel to join in with us if you have another chat client.
Yes.
But yes, that's for everyone out there who listens but doesn't like to chat with us nearly enough.
But I can't take joining. This is
That's it.
making me sad. But my first cosplay was Hermione Granger,
Okay.
and it was really just kind of put together very last minute, and it was for a school project. We were doing a wax museum,
Okay. Oh, interesting.
and what we had to do was we had to take a book character and then showcase it as a wax museum.
Nice.
So I did Hermione Granger from the Deathly Hallows because she's my spirit animal. And it was 2 jackets, a shirt, long pants, Vans, and long brown hair in the middle of summer.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, it was like at the tail end of the school year. But my very first actual cosplay was Harley Quinn, and it's actually what got me into doing charity work. Oh, you guys can see my sweatpants. That's not good. I feel like one of those newscasters that like people are always asking, "Are you actually wearing pants?" And it's like,
Hey.
"No, I'm wearing sweatpants."
The reality of videos cast like this, which I break every time I stand up during. All right, I will let you talk for Phil as I try to get the regular streams running. Evil thing. Sorry, everybody. That was another one where my service provider decided to shut off my internet in the middle of the show. So I'll be having a talk to them. Thank you very much. Awesome. Awesome times. So, like I said, if you could, for us, talk to us, I was going to say, with costuming and such, probably like what one of your favorite costumes is and just kind of why. I'll be right back. Or not? Hello? Why can't I hear you again? Weird. I swore I could a second ago, and then everything decided to be stupid. Let me check this. Yeah, that's all there. Go ahead and chat at me again. I am not seeing any bouncing from your end. Alright, so I'm going to restart my Skype. Could you please do the same? And then we will reconnect that. Oh, well, sorry everybody that this is being so problematic. If I could just get through a single show without all this ridiculousness, wouldn't that be nice? I had somebody who commented basically saying, but what would it be Show X without like chaos and stuff like that? And I was like, a nice show that I wouldn't have to freak out on every time I do this? Wouldn't that be nice? So let's see if I can get everything back.
Hello.
Now I hear you. That is a wonderful thing. Like I said, I don't know what was going on with that. Alright. So, hopefully this means we'll all be happy now with this, but other than I can't seem to get hold of my 24/7 streaming computer and actually make it behave. And so I don't have the regular audio going out, guys. Sorry about that. I'll have to see what I can do about that and as we go forward. Why is everything fighting me? So, we'll see. Anyhow, as I was trying to leave and talk about that, was hoping to ask you more about your costuming.
Yes.
And so, one of the big things, because we were talking about being characters in costume and such, and you've mentioned a few things kind of about what it is you enjoy about being in character stuff. Have there been any specific interactions where you being in character was like way more than someone could deal with? Oh, and now I can't hear you again. Weird. It's coming through very sporadically.
That's
Now I
upsetting.
can hear you again. Weird.
Yay.
I don't know. Maybe it's
Must
our
be
internet
different.
connection
Yeah.
between. It could be just us between that. I don't know. Skype may be trying to help us in balancing our load or
Skype
something.
is a jerk.
And so we shall see. But yeah, unless your mic changed, but I don't know why it would have. Since this is
No,
all on
it
my
hasn't.
end. But yeah, things.
Personally, I haven't had any interactions where being a character was something that somebody couldn't handle. Because other than little kids, like I'll have little kids come up to me or try to come up to me as Harley, and then I'll go,
Well, hi there. You enjoying the event?
and then they just kind of run behind their moms, and so that's really the only time that I've had that kind of experience. But other than that, people usually my personality is showman-like, but it's not to the point where people it's too much for people.
Gotcha. Or I guess another note would be on that one. What's probably your favorite character to be a part of, to play, to showcase that when you're that character, you're just like happy to be in it?
Oh,
I know it's
I'd
hard to choose
say-
from your babies.
I know. They are my babies. You're mean. People
Hi.
didn't tell me that you were mean.
Oh, people should know this by now.
They didn't warn me. Guys in the chat, why didn't you warn me?
Oh, I'm a jerk. But regardless, and it's okay if you can't necessarily choose which is your favorite, because that is tough. But just one that you just really have fun being a part of. That when you're doing it, you feel great. That's like, yep, this is what I should be doing right now.
Probably Rogue or Harley. The others are those are con only almost.
Okay.
And Rogue and Harley is just they're both those kinds of characters where if I'm in it, I'm so happy just because I love the thing about Harley that I love is she's just she can go in so many different directions. She's kind of like Deadpool. So she can be mashed up with practically anything and you come out with the new Harley.
I could see that.
Yeah, so just the creativity that some of these people have that cosplay Harley, I am in no means. We're gonna fix that real quick. Nobody saw anything.
Nope, nothing to see here.
You didn't see anything, just like those penguins from Madagascar. But but just the creativity and the ingenuity that some of these people have that do Harley, it blows me away because I am by no means the best, the most accurate, I'm not the top percentages of Harleys. I'm down at the bottom. I just pick up all the scraps.
I don't know if I'd say that.
It's true. But just meeting different Harleys and seeing, because she's a bad person, but she's a great character.
Yes. She has quite a personality.
So the way that I think about it is, okay, think about it like a cast of friends. You know, you have your Harley, who is a good character and a good actress, but she's not a good person. Like, outside of that role, she's not really the best. That's how I think of it. I don't know why I think of it like that. I just do. But she's really, really fun to play, and to just be obnoxious.
That's probably one of the
so
key
fun.
pieces, right?
Yeah. One of the things that I tell people is if you come to one of the events that I'll be working as Harley, just listen for my voice because I can get that loud. I laugh very loud as Harley, and
This voice is so distinct that if you say anything, like I could say, what is this username? Snickadoodle Paparoni.
say that, and it sounds like something that Harley would say because she's that
absolutely.
just melting pot of character that she can say stuff that's totally just obnoxious and just weird, and you wonder why it was even said. And then she says the smart stuff, you know, things that could actually function in day-to-day society. So that's why I love playing Harley, but playing Rogue is just, ooh, I love that. I love that. I love playing Rogue.
Nice.
I love the accent. That's my favorite part. It's just talking like a Southern belle. It feels right.
Very natural. Very easy to do.
I just research a lot of my characters. That's another thing that I love is researching, because when I get a new character, I look into their origin story and I really get a feel for how they would react to different situations. So Rogue was one of those characters that it was just so fun to learn her backstory and to practice the voice. That was awesome. So it's a tough call between Harley and Rogue.
Now, that makes sense. Those are two both great characters, and so I can understand how it'd be difficult. Also, though, what I wanted to talk to you about, because, okay, cosplay is a big geek thing, and we love our geeks, and we all do it to some extent. But we're greater geeks than just the costumes we wear and the things like that, because it's what gets us into these kind of characters and things. So for you, what are some of your other geek things that you do, things that you consider very geek about you?
I know way too much about Harry Potter. I know an unhealthy amount about just Harry Potter trivia, the trivia about the actors, the characters, the building. I know so much about Universal Harry Potter lands. It's one of those things that I think about at night and I go, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? So, Harry Potter is something that I really love. Another thing is I love old sci-fi-ish. I just love old movies in general. Like, I have the entire Frankenstein Legacy on Blu-ray. I
Nice.
am also a very big horror fan. I'm about to go see the new It, so people in the chat, if you spoil it, we're gonna
Murders will happen. Yes.
Yes.
Don't look at the bloody blue seal. It's all right.
And it's fun. I've
But-
been hearing a lot of good things about that, so hopefully you'll enjoy the new It movie. I need to
Yeah.
go see that.
Yeah, I love the original with Tim Curry. He
Oh,
played
Tim Curry.
such a good guys. Oh, if you guys watch Muppets, watch Muppet Treasure Island. Long John Silver is Tim Curry. I did not know this until very recently.
What's that? He has
Hey.
done so many roles, so many things, and is always like masterful at them. And so,
Yeah.
everybody should be a fan of Tim Curry.
And like I've been watching that movie for all of my life. It is my number one favorite movie. And I just, for so many years, I didn't know who that actor was. And then I saw on like a little weird fact thing that Tim Curry played Long John Silver. And so I watched it back and then I saw the credits and it said Long John Silver, Tim Curry. I was like,
Nice.
I was, as the kids say nowadays, hashtag shook it.
Now, that's a wonderful thing to suddenly realize. It's like, not only is this a character I've always enjoyed, but it's an actor I've loved, and how did I not recognize in the first place? That is a
Yeah,
challenge and unfortunate, but awesome.
Something that will probably make you feel old here is I love Logan's Run.
Oh, yeah. No,
Love
Logan's
that
Run
movie.
is great.
Yeah, if I were a boy, my name would have been Logan. So because
Nice.
of that movie, not because of Wolverine, but because of the movie.
Well, one of the things,
Yeah.
as you kind of mentioned with that about geek in general, is that you came into geek not necessarily just upon your own. It's not like you just found out that you happened to be a geek and just one day was like, wow, you kind of grown up with geek, yes?
Yeah, my family is really big. My dad was an engineer. He's crazy smart. My brother, I'm sitting at his desk right now, and there's just Transformers everywhere. So that's my brother's thing, is Transformers. And so I've just kind of grown up in this geek, science, nerd life, that when I found out that you could have a life that didn't involve this, I was very shocked.
Interesting, that kind of backwards thing of, wait, for me this is
Yeah.
every day, so the fact that some people don't is like a bizarre thing.
Well, it's something that you kind of grow accustomed to because walking around Dragon Con, by Saturday, I was like, okay, I understand how things work here, and it was very just interesting to see how Dragon Con was that's my entire life in 4 buildings, which is crazy, at least to me. It's crazy that my entire life could be in 4 buildings. Actually, I lied. It's not in 4 buildings. It's in 4 buildings and a venue. Because I love rock music.
Oh.
I love music, but I'm a very big metal, rock, alternative fan. Which is something that also translates into being a geek, because there are rock cover bands that cover things like a really good one is Jonathan Young and Caleb Hyde. They do rock metal covers of Disney songs.
Nice.
I love Disney. And so it's very weird to me to think that I've grown up with just toys and collectibles, and like off to my right is a ship from Battlestar Galactica.
Nice.
It's right there. It's like a plushie.
Oh, I know
And-
exactly what that is. Yes.
Yeah. So, and then there are people that I meet that have just been introduced into geekdom, and they're like, "Yeah, I just started in this." Just started in this? Oh, you have a whole life of money just going down the drain.
Ha! Yeah, no, it's crazy because geekdom, one, it goes so many different ways because there's things that I think all of us have interest in, but there is always more than any one of us can consume. I am behind on so many things. I love so many different things, and there's stuff I just know I will never get to. I don't have enough life to live to be able to consume all the things I want to. And so thankfully I have friends to reach out to who geek harder than I do at other things, and I can reference them for it. So that's always nice. So
Me and you with Hamilton lyrics.
yeah, me enjoying the music, but not knowing lyrics to save my life without massive repetition, and only then learning like a song and a half to some kind of like goodness. Everything else
Yeah.
is rough, and I'm terrible. As you can see in the videos, wherever I sang, I
Yes,
am terrible.
please watch the video of Yorktown, because I died when he messed up at Lafayette's part.
I don't.
Because
I learned
Lafayette-
Jefferson, not Lafayette.
People in the chat, I shamelessly know every single lyric that there is to Hamilton.
There's nothing wrong with that. I have whole friend groups that are like can just pick it up and start singing without any music or anything around them, like any point in time. Like I said, I learned Cabinet Battle #1 that I can do without music or anything off top, and the first portion of most of What Did I Miss? Beyond that, I struggle, but if the music's there, I can kind of make it through. Absolutely the case, and I know that, and because Daveed Diggs raps so dang fast that to do his lyrics, the practice necessary for me is ridiculous.
So the weird thing is that with fast raps, is that they're usually very easy to pick up,
Yeah,
because
well,
it is a condensed because it is a condensed amount of time, and you can only fit so many lyrics into that time. So but maybe that's just me, because I write
you
lyrics,
learn
I'm a
lyrics,
lyricist.
yes.
Yeah, I research,
I'm into
I-
music
I-
and hooks, so it's a very different feel.
You just like the instrumental part. I'm the actual words.
And thus why it is so difficult for me to learn actual lyrics, but can be done through lots of pain and repetition. Can be done, at least for me. So no, and that's Yeah, that is some good geek to have, though. And not just Hamilton. I think your geek also extends to kind of musicals in general.
Yes, I just introduced Wayne here. I just introduced him to a musical. Can you even remember the name of it?
Nope, because I think you mentioned 3 in a row the last time we had mentioned anything. And I was like, oh, is this an album and like artists? You're like, no, these are musicals. And I was like,
Yeah, he asked me
Oh.
what my favorite musicals were, and I said, In the Heights, Tick Tick Boom, Hamilton, and a little bit of Phantom of the Opera. I think that's what I said.
well, no,
And
you
you
didn't
said-
say Phantom of the Opera or Hamilton,
Oh,
or
I
I would have
didn't.
recognized. You said Tick Tick Boom, and you said, was it
In the Heights.
In the Heights and some other one, because none of them were musicals I recognized. And thus I was like, oh, yeah, it's a band. Okay. Yeah. If it is Hamilton
they're all
and
musicals.
Phantom, I would have got that.
So the musical that I just told him about, which he cannot remember, which is understandable because it's a very, very long name. It's Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. It is a musical based on a 70-page excerpt from War and Peace, that saga. And it's about this girl, Natasha. She's engaged to the prince's son, so the prince. And she comes to Moscow. Why did I say Moscow? Moscow. Yeah, there we go. In the musical, they say Moscow or Moscow. So
Okay.
I say it like that for some reason. But she comes to Moscow and she meets a man, and I don't want to spoil anything because it's so good. It's so good. I implore everyone to listen to it. It's amazing.
Very nice, very nice. Because, yeah, and I had mentioned in that point, like, I think you have far more culture than I may ever have because I have seen a handful of musicals and things like this, but do not recognize. I have so many, like, theater geeks and nerds that know all these things. Again, my focus was always computers and gaming and such, which, speaking of, because our show loves our gaming, what kind of
That's Warped
gaming?
Tour.
What kind of gaming do you do?
None.
Ha!
It's practically non-existent. I prefer Xbox
Okay.
over console. And
Well, you say over console, it is, but yes.
Yes. So I prefer that, or no, Xbox over console. I prefer console over PC.
PC. Okay.
That's what I meant to say.
Gotcha.
But I do Minecraft because I'm mentally a 12-year-old boy. No, but I enjoy Minecraft. I do BattleBlocks Theater, Mortal Kombat a little bit. As long as I'm not going up against my brother, I'm fine with Mortal Kombat. But gaming's not something that I was ever into in the geekdom. I mean, I can do tabletop. I can do a few games. But mine was always like just the makeup, the costuming, wigs, and just acting.
Oh, and that is perfectly fine. I throw it out there because I think every one of my fans at least wants to kind of have an idea of if I were playing a game online, could I find this person somewhere, kind of deal. And so
No.
for those out there, basically Minecraft would be where you might.
Yeah,
and there was-
Minecraft and BattleBlocks Theater.
Yep, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all have our level of game just like we have our level of geek. And so that is completely appropriate. Talking in general about going back somewhat to cosplay, as we've now covered a little bit of the gambit of what you've been doing, what would you say is probably some of the costumes or characters that you are most looking forward to tackling in the future?
Well, I'm really looking forward to doing Alexander Hamilton from Hamilton. Just because I'm doing it with a friend and she's gonna be my Eliza, and I had to bribe her into doing it. We did a trading system, so she's gonna be my Eliza, but I have to do a video game character for her panel that she's doing at the same con. So I was like, whatever. Sure. So I'm really looking forward to doing Hamilton. I am looking forward to doing Chance the Clown from HHN 25. She's a murderous, just off the wall level of insanity, knives and blood version of Harley Quinn.
Nice.
She's got kind of a similar voice, except no Brooklyn accent.
Okay.
It's just that very high pitched. I'm looking forward to doing her at Spooky Empire this year because I will be a vendor, and I said I need to have a horror cosplay. Looking forward to doing Hermione again. She's always been one of my favorites. I don't think I have any others.
Well, so those are ones it sounds like that you might have actually planned to do. Are there any costumes that you've seen a character or seen some outfit or something that's like, oh, that would be amazing, but maybe you're a little intimidated by, that it's just kind of like, you know, the kind of the dream costumes, the dream cosplays, like
Right.
eventually one day I want to be able to say I have played this character because I think it's amazing.
See, this is gonna sound a little bad, but the thing with me and characters is that if I want to do it, I've already done it. I can get those characters so quickly because Amazon is amazing. That's where I get everything
Oh yeah.
for my cosplays. But I've seen. I really want to do Ariel in her pink dress, which, if you know me, I hate pink. I hate dresses. I want to be a redhead in a pink dress for some reason.
The beauty of being costumes and characters. That you don't have to be
But-
yourself.
Yeah, but I that's something that is just like a dream that I want to do. To do more musical cosplays, I would love to do. I want to do Anatole Krogan from The Great Comet of 1812. He's got this wonderful, just blonde hair, and the actor who plays him is so good looking, it's unhealthy. But he has this beautiful, just up and just beautiful blonde hair and these awesome costumes, and he wears a towards the end of the second act, he wears this beautiful green coat that goes all the way to the floor, and
It's too much. Too much.
I want to do it so bad.
Well, so that's good because that's kind of what I was getting at is characters you've seen that's like they're on the list, right? Everybody has kind of the future list. I look on my cos planner and I've got a dozen costumes that I hope to eventually get to.
I keep wanting to get that, and then I forget, and then I get to a con where I have no Wi-Fi, and I'm like, oh, I should add this to my list, and then I look and I don't have Cos Planner.
That is a challenge of it, but it's one that I use somewhat just to document. Every once in a while I actually try to fill things out to show percentage of completion when I'm in a project. I am very serial in that I try to get one costume done at a time. I have many friends who have many costumes in many different states of done. And so I'm not that person. I don't think I'd have the discipline.
Either.
And so I have to do one at a time. But in general, it just keeps me a list of things like, oh, that's right, I want to do this one. I need to do that at some point. Shoot, when am I going to do this? And I know for me, motivation, and I'm kind of curious yours, for choosing a character, when to do which character, you kind of hinted at already with your Hamilton and such, is like I usually choose characters based off either being invited into a group to do one, or in some way told like, hey, we're doing this one on this con. Because then it sets a timeline for me to get a specific character out the door. Otherwise, I'm always kind of just in the air about, I don't know what I would do next. I don't know when I'm going to make my cyborg, or when I'm going to make my Maui, or when I'm going to redo and make my armored version of Wasabi no Ginger, or, all these kind of things that I want to still do, but are just on the list. So for you, is it characters you just say, what, I'm picking this con and I'm going to do it? Or do you have other people that are kind of in the case with, having to do your gaming character for another friend where it's when someone helps dictate my timeline?
Well, each character is different. For my Harleys, it's just kind of whenever I get them done. I know for a while I was doing Stars of Hope, and we go into different theaters down here. There's a movie theater that allows us to come out in costume, and we do skits inside of the theater, and we raise money for Stars of Hope, and it's a charity thing. But I had my very first Harley done before that, and I did it for a while, and then the wig just got so bad that I couldn't use it anymore.
Oh no.
So for a while I was out of a cosplay, and then I was like, oh wait, what was the movie? Avengers, the second Avengers, Age of Ultron. That movie came out, so I was like, I'm gonna do Scarlet Witch, and I'm gonna have it in by the time that I can do it for Stars of Hope.
Okay.
So I got that in, and then from then on, Harleys were just kind of whenever I got them around. I know for my Gamora, it was, I think I may have told you this, but it was, we were doing a charity event for the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And they were like, we need a Gamora. We have all the rest of the Guardians except Gamora. So I said, I'll have it in. You can count on me. And I was competing with 3 other women for the role.
Oh, wow.
And they were all like, oh, I'll probably have it in. I was like, no, I'm going to have it in. Definitely. So so that one was, I had to have it by a specific date. CL was kind of like that as well. I had that in for Omnicon this past March. If I could speak, that would be wonderful. But usually it's kind of, I think that character's cool, so I'm gonna do it. And that's usually how it goes. I remember Negasonic the year that the movie came out, and I watched it for the first time. Which I was not allowed to do until it came home on Blu-ray.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, Deadpool, right?
yeah, it was only because of the adult scene in there. That was the only reason.
Okay, fair.
But I remember going into my room afterwards and trying to do Negasonic makeup. And like, to put it in perspective, my brows, the tail ends were shaved off because I liked that.
Okay.
And so I went in there, I crafted this gray lipstick from body paint. It was so bad.
Huh.
And I showed it to my dad, and he goes, go slick your hair back as flat as you can. I said, all right. I went back into the bathroom. I slicked my hair back, and I came out, and he goes, you look exactly like her. Like, no joke. You look like Negasonic. And so then that led me to taking a year to get the cosplay.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was a year, well, I guess it would have been March. Because the Deadpool movie came out in February of last year. And and then once I got everything on, I got the right lipstick and everything. And my dad was like, okay, this is your thing now. You look exactly like her. So it's different with every cosplay when I get them done.
Oh, it makes sense. It is organic in that sense. You know, it's like you kind of just, well, in this case, I got this one. I'm doing this. You know, I understand that definitely, and I am constantly back and forth on with mine. But for the most part, I say I do pretty good. But there's just so many coming up. You know, my next ones, it seems like I keep getting myself behind bigger and bigger costumes, and so I have no idea what I'm going to get them all done. Somewhat scary and such, but we shall see. All right, I don't know if you have if you're able to receive a link, get on your computer real quick in front of you or not, but mostly for the sake of Relover 137 in the IRC and Kuro, I wanted to go to a page. Yes.
No. I'm on the page. No.
And I want to click on Genesis.
What?
So you follow to
Oh,
on
it's
the right
the
there.
first one, right?
Yep.
Oh.
And then let's skip to one I hadn't been at and go to maybe Genesis 30.
Do you make all your guests this miserable?
No, we're just going to do a moment of this. Okay, actually, no, let's go back. Let's do Genesis 1. We'll just start from the beginning so it makes sense for everybody. What this is what part of the thing I did this weekend when getting immersed amongst cats, and yes, I'm sorry for you for this, but is we were made to do a reading of the Lolcat Bible, and in doing so we passed around to get everyone to do. So what I was going to do is start where I will read up to maybe number 10 on that, and then at 11 have you kick in over with me, if that's all right, as you look like you're ready to poke me through the screen.
I'm ready to hit you.
But I've got to promise this. So what this is the Bible as presented by Lolcats. Thank you to Relover for forcing me to do this just the other day. And it's interesting because I don't think you can do this in a normal voice, but we shall try. And it starts out.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Genesis 1. Boarded ceiling cat makingeth earth and stuff. Oh, hi! Into beginning, ceiling cat mated disguise and the earths, but he did not eat them. The earths no head shapes and had a dark face, and ceiling cat rode a visible bike over to waters. At start, no has light. As ceiling cat says, I can has light, and light was. And ceiling cat saw to light to just see stuff, and split it to light from dark, but that was okay, cause kittens can see in the dark, and not trips over nettin'. And ceiling cat saith, light day and dark no day, it was first. And ceiling cat said, I'm in water making a ceiling, but he had not yet made a And he made a hole in the ceiling, and ceiling cat does disguise with the water down and water's up. It happened. And ceiling cat said, I can has to ferment, which is funny Bible name for ceiling. So was the 12th day. And ceiling cat gotteth all to waters in our base, and ceiling cat has dry placed, cause kittens do not want to get wet. And ceiling cat called no waters earth, and waters uns is good. Or ocean. I messed that one up. Ocean is good. On to you. Take a chance.
No. Why?
Just read and go.
Hang on, wait. I want to try to do this. And ceiling cat said, do not want grass! I had to. So there was seeds and stuff. And fruiters and vegetables and a kion. It had
Silly Cat tweet that the tweet is good. So let here be the tweet. And so the tweet did attack. And Silly Cat said, I can have light in the skies for flipping things and moving. It happens like everywhere, like Christmas. Certainly. I'm having way too much fun with it. And
Yes.
Silly Cat does to drink like have this big for things and other for nothing. And Silly Cat threw him on the sky with big nannies. And Silly Cat said, weapons bringing fish and birds. So Kitten can eat that, but Silly Cat no eat this that. And Silly Cat made big fishes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining in on the silliness of reading Lolcat Bible. It is ridiculous and is silly, but it's something that Relover had us do and was chucklingly fun. Not realizing at the start of it that it was Lolcats, and so started reading all of the terrible writing. You too can follow along if you go to the lolcatbible.com, as I linked at least Genesis 1 in the IRC there, and we'll throw it in the show notes. It was entertaining and silliness. But as our days go, it looks like we are about to run up to the end of the show. And so to prep for that, I want to give you an opportunity to pimp out and let everybody know all of the different places that they can follow or find you on social media.
Well, Instagram, Take a Chance Cosplay. You can find it under a hashtag, which is Take a Chance Cosplay. So if you take a picture with me, make sure to hashtag me. And then I'm going to throw my phone over my shoulder. Facebook is Take a Chance Cosplay. I know, so original. Calm your horses. YouTube, it will be Take a Chance Cosplay, or probably just Take a Chance. I haven't made it yet, so
Eventually. Look out for.
yeah. Eventually, you can find me on YouTube. You can already find me on YouTube at 50th Street. I did the cosplay coverage for Tampa Bay Comic Con, where you can see my Deacons and a Monster in its very first rendition. Twitter is at Negasonic Tweets, Negasonic Tweets. A lot of people ask me if it's Megasonic Tweets. I'm like, nerp, nerp. You can probably find me on his Facebook.
Yeah, if
It's
anybody
like-
has me on Facebook, you'll find Take a Chance as well. But it's definitely go like the page, go like Take a Chance Cosplay. You can find it really easily on FaceCrack as well as all of the other social medias out there. Pretty much, if you search up Take a Chance, you will find it. And so, thank you very much. And that way, people can keep track of everything you're doing and see future costumes and such. Yes.
Just so people don't ask, no, I do not have a Snapchat. People ask me that all the time. They're like, oh, do you have a Snapchat that I can follow up? I'm like, no, I don't have it.
It's okay.
Hip.
We can only be on so many social media things at any given time. It is hard enough to keep up with the ones that are, the regular big ones, let alone try to find every little niche one that's out there. Granted, I think I have all of those now, including Snapchat. Granted, I don't know how often I check any of them. But anyhow. So, awesome. So, yes, if you would like to find Take a Chance Cosplay, who has joined us today, please go out there, find on social media, and follow so you can see all the future projects and be able to converse and chat with as well. With that, it is unfortunately time to end the show this week. I want to do a shout out to the photography contest. Make sure everybody goes out to our forums. Go to vtwproductions.com, click on the forums link, and go out and participate in our 21st art contest. I say photography art contest. It can be any kind of art. Photography, drawing, it can be some kind of video interpretive things, it can be poetry, whatever it is, based on the various subjects we have available for you this time. Also, please check out all the other shows that are on the VTW network, as well as our sister network, Alpha Geek Radio. We appreciate those guys, and I need to double check with Gnomewise to see how they've updated things. But with that, I want to thank you again for joining us this week. It's been lovely having you on.
Oh, it was so much fun. This is, if people had told me that when I'm older that I would be on a podcast at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in rogue makeup and hair,
Would not have believed? Well,
no.
We appreciate you taking this time out of your busy schedule to do so. Also,
Oh yeah,
thankful
so
that
busy doing nothing.
well, in the cleaning up and follow up from
Yes.
having avoided a
Irma.
hurricane. Yes. Thank you for finding the time to join us this week. I know all of my fans appreciate it. So with that, everybody, we're going to call it good, call it a week, and we will catch you again next week on ShowX at VTWProductions.com. All right, everybody, have a good week, and we will catch you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Maniacs!
Goodbye. See you next zombie. Good night. Awesome.